The opinions expressed in this program reflect only those of the participants and are not necessarily those of the sponsors, management, or staff of WTBQ Radio or FST Broadcasting Corporation.
WTBQ.
And good afternoon, folks. Welcome back to the BC Connection here with John Douthit, the president at John S. Burke Catholic High School and Burke Catholic Academy, and
Janice Clark, principal of John S. Burke Catholic High School and Academy. And we have a special guest here today. Well, several special guests here in the studio. We're going to hear from one right now, Justin DePierro, Coach Justin DePierro, also technology, social media. You do a lot for us. So, Coach, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
thanks, Justin. Yep, Justin, and happy Friday.
Yeah,
Hope
happy
everybody's
Friday.
doing well. We've another great week at Burke Catholic. We have another lot of great things that have gone on, that are going on. So it's exciting. Hope everybody's having a really good Friday afternoon here, heading into the Christmas season. But busy time, huh?
It's a very busy time. So many things going on here at Burke Catholic before we get to our other special guests in the studio with us today. But so last week, I think we'll start all the way back on Saturday. Actually, Friday of last week. And that was Burke Catholic had the opportunity to play in the state football championship game, Class D. Coach DePierro is one of our coaches, and it wasn't the way we wanted to end the season, but it was a great season. And what can you tell us about that?
Oh, yeah, it was a great experience. I think, like you said, I'm just one piece of the puzzle there. Our kids were phenomenal. Coaching staff did a great job all season. I think on behalf of everyone, we want to thank you guys for everything you did to support us going up there and having that great weekend. We went up to Syracuse, played our hearts out, got up there, played a really good CSP team, and had the privilege to say that we have been the only Burke Catholic team that's been a state finalist at the state championship there.
Yeah, it was a truly historic season, and congratulations to you and all our student athletes. We know all the folks in our building. We never measure success on wins and losses, right? So it's how Burke Catholic and our families and our student athletes represent themselves on the field and before the games and after the game, and the buses, and we were just so incredibly proud of them. And then to add the measure of success that you guys had this season, it truly was historic. So thank you for all that you did, and all of our credible student athletes. We heard from so many alumni, not only locally but across the country and nation, who were following you guys. So it was a great season. And it was really, truly historic. So Burke Catholic, in the history of the school, has had 3 state champions. Our 1988 girls softball team, 1997 girls basketball team, and then our
2011, right? Yep.
2011 boys basketball team. And then we've had some really
Close ones.
great measure of success. Our boys baseball team went to the state final last spring. Girls soccer went to the Class C Final Four in the fall here, and then what you guys did today. So, man, it's so cool to be part of, and thank you. I know our parents were so excited, and our kids were so excited. So we had 2 spectator buses that took a ride up on Friday morning, and
awesome.
Up at the JWA Dome, formerly known for all of us old people as the Carrier Dome.
Yeah.
So that was a great event and a wonderful opportunity for you guys to showcase our student athletes. So thank you.
No, thank you. I want to a shout out to the spectator buses. That was really we were having breakfast in the hotel, and got a message from Mrs. Morgan with the BCA bus going up. And I think it sounds silly, but that was really a touching moment for our boys that were up there. Like, oh wow, these young guys are taking a 3-hour trip to come up and see us. So that was awesome. The amount of support that we got the entire season, but especially leading up into the state championship, was remarkable.
Yeah, and it's also super fun. It's great to come together as a school and to really cheer on, your classmates, your colleagues, and for us as administration to watch you guys do what you did was great. And I know you had your banquet a little bit late this year.
Yeah,
it was this week. Yeah,
it was Wednesday. So we finished the season, and then we were giving out awards. So yeah, that was a
quick turnaround for a banquet.
Quick turnaround, but it was a great night. The people at Autokill did a wonderful job hosting us, and it was great. It was a good time.
Good. So yeah,
Yeah, and in addition to that, where there was a couple of other representatives from the Section 9 group, right? So some other teams got very close to the opportunity to go up to Syracuse, but one of our local teams, Port Jervis, Section 9 champion, Class B, state title, historic event in their history. And I know that, as much as our teams are rivals on fields, when the Section 9 crews start to get to those levels and, everyone seems to root for each other.
Sure,
There was a wonderful event here that Taylor and Frank host every year, the Toys for Tots, which was this Monday morning, just another incredible event. And, Tony Cardone from Mondo Woodbury was here, and there's a whole bunch of other representatives from Orange County, so we were a small piece of that. But we were talking about just kind of that camaraderie between Section 9 teams, that when you get to that level, everybody seems to root for them. I know you guys share a special bond with the Port Jervis folks and the Warwick folks and the Chester folks, who you get to practice with those guys. So that was fun to watch those guys do that. We congratulate them, and another great event for Section 9. Yeah,
the level of, I think it speaks to our guys, the level of sportsmanship and, camaraderie in Section 9 right now has been really strong.
Yeah.
We practiced with Port Jervis about 3 or 4 times this year. And there was a cool moment at the Tuckahoe game in the, sleet and ice where we were coming out of halftime and they were just coming in. And, it was a 0-0 game at the time, and no one was really producing, but those poor guys really lifted us up and cheered us on as we entered the field. And we had the opportunity to reciprocate when we finished and we were celebrating, but then we saw them coming on the field and our guys were, pounding on their pads and hyping them up, and the coaches were hugging and hyping each other up. So it was a really cool experience, whether it was Port Jervis or the Chester guys, or, we were able to use Goshen and Middletown's field a little bit and facilitate. Everyone was just super supportive. So it was a cool thing.
Yeah, it was so great, and congratulations, and thanks so much. And then now we're back to business, right?
Everybody
at Burke Catholic wears so many hats, right? So Coach Hasbrouck is also our dean of students and teacher in the building. You work as the communications coordinator at Burke Catholic High School. We've got a couple of volunteer coaches, a couple of paid coaches who have jobs locally in the buildings and outside in the education world. So we're so appreciative of all that they do in support of our student athletes, and it's fun for us fans to go up and watch and be a part of it. So thanks to all. And then there's a whole bunch of other great things that have gone on here besides the Toys for Tots program on Monday, which our kids are part of. I know
I just want to mention before we get off of sports is another historic moment for Burke Catholic. And we had, for the first time ever, we had 2 of our students wrestle, female students wrestle. So that's another first in Burke Catholic history. They had their first tournament this past week. They both did a great job, and hopefully that's the start of a great new program at Burke Catholic, and it continues. But so we're really proud of Christina Nunez and Juliana Flanagan for wrestling in their first match with Burke Catholic.
Yeah, I believe that was over at the Port Jervis tournament. That was, like I said, that's great. All our female sports right now are phenomenal.
Yes, they are.
Like, just out of this world. And I think we talked about, like, state champions. Like, in track and field, Izzy Filosa was silver medalist at the state meet, and she's got a good opportunity to potentially be the 4th Burke Catholic state champion this coming year. So there's some awesome, stuff happening in all Burke Catholic right now. But I would say our female coaches and athletes right now are out of this world, doing some excellent stuff.
Yeah, and it is incredible. We're so lucky and blessed. 75 to 80% of our kids are involved in a club or a team or activity. It's not just necessarily sports, but we have so many different clubs and organizations. One of our clubs and events is down at the Metropolitan Museum of Art today, which was a wonderful. We're going to spend some time this afternoon speaking to 3 of our Burke Catholic Academy students who were part of their winter concert last night. There was another incredible event. We're going to talk a little bit about that, but also our brand new BCA Connects Club, led by Mr. DePierro, who is the Burke Catholic Communications Coordinator. So when we talk about events and we talk about exciting things, there's just so many things that are going on, and it's really wonderful. It's one of the biggest things that we love to do, is watch our kids outside of the classroom and interact socially, and our volunteer work. So it really is just an incredible time, and we can't wait to detail out some of that some of the great acts that they are doing. And we are going to take a quick break here, but join us back here with John Douthit and Janice Clark, the president and principal at Johannesburg Catholic High School and Academy. And we're going to talk to some of our great students and Mr. DePierro. Thanks, folks.
Burke Catholic is the premier preparatory school in the Hudson Valley and encourages students to fulfill their passions in the areas of the fine arts, academics, athletics, and community service. Burke Catholic has a 100% graduation and college acceptance rate. Our seniors are awarded, on average, $180,000 in college scholarships. Burke Catholic's personalized approach to guidance ensures success for every student in grades 6 through 12. For more information or to schedule a tour, visit burkecatholic.com.
Hi, this is Tony Cardone, supervisor at Town of Monroe. Join me and my guests every Tuesday morning on the round table at 9:30. We'll talk about all that's going on in the municipal world, local government, and state government. Radio worth listening to.
Hi, this is Walt Baby Love. Start your Sunday with me at 6 a.m. and Gospel Tracks. I'll give you the phone number to the Faith phone line and the address to the website. All that and much, much more. Right here on Gospel Tracks with yours truly, Walt Baby Love.
WTBQ.
And welcome back, folks, to the BC Connection here with John Douthit and Janice Clark. Another beautiful Friday afternoon. We hope everybody is having a wonderful week and gearing up towards the Christmas season. It's an important time in the Catholic faith. It's the weeks of Advent. It's the second week of Advent, and it's just just an incredible time for us as we prepare for the birth of Jesus. And we're just so thankful to Frank and Taylor for this opportunity to talk about all the great things at Burke Catholic. The folks, Frank and Taylor, we know we missed your incredible Christmas party last night. Thank you for all you do and giving us this incredible opportunity to brag about our students and brag about all the cool things that are going on at BC. And we have some really great guests with us today, and they are the inaugural members, or a portion of the inaugural members of the Burke Catholic Academy Connect Club.
Yep.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, the BCA Connect Club.
The BCA Connect Club.
BC Connect, first ever.
Yeah.
First ever. So we have Mr. DePierro. So Justin wears a bunch of different hats for us. His role in the building is as the communications coordinator. He's one of our coaches and always involved in any of our volunteer opportunities. But one of the coolest things that we have initiated here, Mr. DePierro, is our BCA Connect Club. Can you talk a little bit about kind of how that started, where the the genesis of that club is, and how it's been received by our students in the building?
Yeah, it's great. Kind of like going full circle. I think when I was on the first time, you were saying how this was an offspring of the BC Connect. When we started doing our Eagle updates and everything, the radio show itself, we called this the BC Connect. And we wanted to create more offerings for our BCA students who are really active in our clubs and our sports and everything. So this was kind of a way for them to highlight the things that are going on in the BCA, while also, learning about some new things about technology and multimedia. I joke that everyone these days wants to be a YouTuber or a podcaster or a TikToker. This is kind of an inside look at, how to do some of those things. So our goal was to kind of highlight the BCA and the things that they're doing, and it turned into, how do we highlight our great school as a whole? So our first episode was with, our first podcast episode was with Mrs. Morgan, and it was great.
Very cool. And it sounds very similar to when Mrs. Clark and I started this radio show, right? It was really, Frank and Taylor, we had an opportunity to say hello. We were introduced to them. We became friends. An opportunity opened up for us, and we said yes. And it's been great. We're doing this show, over 2 years now. It gives us a chance to really talk with all of our incredible alumni and feature all the great things that go on, and frankly get to brag about all the cool stuff. And then when you say yes to these things, right, you're really not sure where it's going to go. Here we are, over 2 years later. When you guys said yes to the podcast, how did that go?
That was actually easy. I think everyone was very excited to do that. I didn't know how we were going to do it, but the kids were just like, yeah, we'll do it. So working with them has been awesome. They all have their own little teams that kind of make everything go and do their thing. So I think their enthusiasm kind of sparked my determination to get it going.
Well, it's so great, and we have 3 of our incredible BCA Connect members here today. We have Nora Lopez, Noah Aidoo, and Brynn Hasbrouck. And what I thought we would do is we start, Mrs. Clark and I, we're going to talk a little bit. We're going to give each you guys kind of a chance to talk about why you wanted to do it, right? So think about why you wanted to do it. How it's going so far, right? I know you guys interviewed Mrs. Morgan, how that was, and then what are maybe some of the plans? So maybe we'll go around the horn here. We'll introduce, so Brynn Hasbrouck, yes. You get to go first. Oh. So why did you want to be part of the BCA Connect?
Well, I was walking around the activities fair, I came around and I saw Mr. DePierro with his setup with all of the like technology stuff, and my dad came over and I was like, Dad, what is this about? And he said, oh, you should go ask him about it. And he said, well, we're going to work with like social media. Well, not as much social media, but we're going to work with like technology, and we're going to try to do a podcast. And I was like, oh, that actually sounds pretty fun. So that's kind of how I got into it.
Wow, that's awesome. Okay. And then so you and Mr. DePierro are figuring out, you say yes. Okay. And now we got to round some folks up. Okay. So Noah, how did you get involved in the BCA Connect Club? Was Brynn say, hey, no, I got a great idea, or how did it come about?
So basically all my friends and me liked all like the equipment and what we do there. And we seen like how we take good photos and record doing podcasts and stuff.
That is so cool. And that is one of the coolest things. So Mrs. Clark runs our big career day. And one of the cool things about being part of the career day is there's so many different opportunities to have a vision about what things are. And I know Taylor came over and talked about the radio station, right? And there's so many different things that are part of it. But one of the cool things are the opportunity to showcase all of the cool things that go on. So that's really, really awesome. So Nora, give us your, how did you say yes? Was it an easy yes? Or were you a little nervous? Because I know you're a little bit shy sometimes.
No, I'm not.
What?
I'm really not.
Oh, wait, that's okay. Well, I have the wrong Nora. Okay, good. So go ahead. Tell us how you became part of the BCA Connect Club.
So, I'm kind of like, I really like podcasts and everything. And I thought it would be fun to like do something like that at school. I just wasn't sure if they had a club. And then when I walked around and I saw the club, I asked Mr. DePierro about it, and he said, oh, we'll do like podcasts. I was like, oh, that would be perfect. And so I saw the equipment, and it all looked pretty fun, and so I just wrote my name down. It was fun.
Sounds like it was a very easy decision for you. Yeah. So the 3 of you now, you guys are in 6th and 7th grade, right?
Yes.
Hard to believe you guys are graduating in 2030 and 2031. Sounds like a long time away, but it won't be. It'll go very nice and quickly, I'm sure. So when you first stepped into BC Connect, what was the first thing you guys did, and was it everything you thought? So who can talk about the goal and the vision and what you guys started on right away?
I mean, we first started laying out the ground rules. Like, okay, we're in the computer lab. We're not messing around with anything. This is
ground rules. Good.
Yeah, and then he was like, we're gonna do a podcast. We're gonna pick someone to interview, probably around once a month or something like that. And we were just like, okay. And then we had to figure out what was the first step to start our podcast.
Okay. And what was that for? What did you do after that, Noah?
So after we picked the person we wanted to do, which was Miss Morgan, the art teacher for high school and BCA, we wanted to get the guest bookers to see what she likes and what questions we should ask.
Okay, so you actually had to spend a little bit of time researching, right, and thinking about some questions and things you wanted to talk about, right?
Yeah.
How long did that take you guys?
About 2 weeks.
2
1
weeks?
week.
Good, okay. All right, and then, Nora, how about the next step after that?
After that, we just kind of got right to work on deciding who the host was going to be, and then kind of just deciding creating what our little emblem was going to look like, and what the photo was going to look like, and how we would start the podcast, theme music, all that fun stuff.
Sounds like there's a lot to go into a podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, what's really cool is, I think we have about 20 students in the club, depending on the day. We have about 20 students. Everyone has their own little team. Yeah, so it's really a little bit of everything for everyone. There's people that are working on art and posters, and there's people that are working on, like Hero O'Neill's works on a lot of the questions and writing, like some of gathering research and everything like that. So really cool thing is like you can grab a whole lot of people with different interests. So if you don't necessarily like to talk, like some of these 3 young students, they love talking and love talking to everyone else. There's something for you to do. So I could name, there's people setting up mics, so everyone had a job, everyone had a task.
And so what is your job, Brynn?
I am one of the hosts, and I am on our guest booker /
Okay.
hospitality team.
Okay. And Noah, what's your responsibility in the group?
The host.
You're a host too. Okay, good. And Nora?
I'm also a host.
They're the hosts.
Yeah.
They get to talk. They
All
get to
3
talk.
of you are on the same time and same podcast when you did with Mrs. Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so, Brynn, you also help choose the guests.
Yeah, well, I think all of us, it's a team decision who
Okay.
we are going to pick as our guest.
Good.
But it's mostly like me and a couple other people. We figure out, okay, when is this person available? What time? Where are we going to do it? And then there's also the hospitality part. Like, are you comfortable? Like, do we need to adjust your mic? Like, do you need water? Stuff like that.
Great. And how long did it take you to put together that first podcast? How many meetings and how many weeks did you guys spend?
I think it took about 4 or 5. Yeah.
Okay, so if our BC family and friends and students wanted to be able to listen to your podcast, where are we going to be able to hear them?
Oh, that's a good question. I believe it's on our website right now.
And I think it's also posted on YouTube.
It's on our Burke Catholic Connects YouTube channel, which is actually a old channel that we dusted off. We were using that channel during the pandemic to broadcast our underclassmen awards and a lot of our president and principal messages that we had at the time. So once again, it's amazing how things come full circle. And now we're using it to highlight some of our BCA, which I don't think was alive back in 2020. Do we have a BCA in 2020?
No, we did not. We're running through the COVID dynamic, and we were navigating and using crazy words like pivot and redirecting, which we will never use again.
No.
But what it did was gave us an idea and an opportunity to reach out to folks and use that social media was great. So as much as you guys are young, right? As Mrs. Clark just said, class of 2030 and 2031, which just seems like fake numbers, by the way, because I'm 1,000 years old. But we figured out a way to make it work. And you guys using a podcast now, I've never done a podcast, right? We've been able to do the radio show, which is pretty cool. You guys now are working on a podcast, which is really, really cool. So what I can't wait to do is learn from you guys on how to do podcasts, which is pretty cool.
I mean, I think it's very similar to doing the radio show. I think the only big difference is that you guys pick different guests too, but there's just very like small differences that go with it. Like a podcast might not always be on like the radio, and you might have to like use Bluetooth or something to get it.
That's pretty cool, and those are the great things, and that's just another way for us to get our great message out. And the wonderful thing is everybody has a role, right? So Mrs. Clark and I have a role here, and our role is to kind of set it up for the school and introduce all of our incredible alumni and guests that are on the show and get to talk about themselves, because we want to know their time at Burke Catholic and their connection to BC and all the cool things that they're doing in their life that really allowed them to be part of it. And then you guys are the hosts, and then there's a whole bunch of folks that are part of it, read by Mr. DePierro. So that's that teamwork piece, right? So you get teamwork not only in sports and athletics and stuff. There's a lot of teamwork involved in business and developing programs. So you guys are way ahead of the curve.
Yeah, I mean, I think when people say, oh, well, what have you done in this club? Like you guys said that you were doing podcasts, and we say, well, we only have 1 episode so far, and we're starting a new one. They don't really realize how much work actually goes into it. We need to figure out a thumbnail. We need to figure out who's going to be the host. We need to figure out what questions we're going to ask. And there definitely is, like, a lot of behind-the-scenes people, like, there's the people, like, making sure that, like, Mr. DePierro, what's it called? The thing that changes the volume and like.
Oh,
splits
the little
mic?
mixer thing. Make sure all
Yeah.
the volume and levels are correct.
Yeah,
yes.
like you don't see the people like behind the scenes like fixing the mics and like using the mixer like.
Well, that is so cool, and we're going to take a quick break here at the bottom of the hour, and we're going to find out who is part of that mixing group and keeps you guys as the host. So that's going to be wonderful. So we hope you guys can stay with us. Thanks for tuning in here. You're with John Douthit and Janice Clark with our special guests on the BC Connection, folks. Join us back in just a few minutes. Thanks now. Bye now.
John S. Burke Catholic High School in Goshen is a co-ed preparatory school that promotes academic rigor, respect, values, and responsibility. Burke Catholic will shape students' talents and abilities academically, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. Burke Catholic teaches young men and women the spirit of Catholic Christian values, how to demonstrate civic responsibility, and to become leaders who will positively impact and serve the world. For admission information, visit burkecatholic.com or schedule a tour to learn more.
Hey, I'm TJ.
Hey, I'm Jabo.
Jabo, are you ready for the next TJ show?
I'm always ready, TJ. Are you ready?
Yes, it's going to be hopefully encouraging. Hope you're going to find something fun there. We're a different kind of radio show. If you haven't heard it yet, turn on the next TJ show and you'll see what we're talking about.
I'm gonna make this place your home.
This is Christine Koenig,
Grace Warren,
Brenda Wiley,
Dave Wilner
of Howard Hanna Rand Realty and the hosts of The Real Real Estate Show.
Mondays at 10 a.m. It's radio worth listening to.
WTBQ GHT weather.
For this afternoon, we'll have mostly sunny skies and a high of 31. Tonight, clear skies and a low of 17. For Saturday, we'll have plenty of sunshine and a high of 32. Saturday night, mostly clear skies and a low of 19. For Sunday, mostly sunny skies in the morning, then becoming mostly cloudy in the afternoon with a high of 35. Sunday night, we'll have a chance of snow, sleet, and freezing rain and a low of 29. I'm Chris Keith.
WTBQ.
And good afternoon, folks. Welcome back to the BC Connection here with John Douthit and Janice Clark, the president and principal at Jonas Burke Catholic High School and Burke Catholic Academy. And we have another great Friday afternoon here. We hope everybody is gearing up towards the holiday season. It's such an exciting time for all of us here at Burke Catholic and locally and nationally. So there's so many great things that are going on. We hope everybody has had a safe lead in. There's Christmas parties, and it's a great time for us to spend a little time. We had our great faculty party on Monday, which was wonderful. It gives everybody just a chance to sit back and relax and enjoy each other's company, which is wonderful. But we have some great guests with us today. This is really one of the coolest things we get to do is invite our friends and our folks on here. So we have Mr. DePierro, Justin DePierro, who is the Burke Catholic Communications Coordinator, among other things. And one of the cool build-outs of the Burke Catholic Communications Coordinator and our incredible array of activities is the BCA Connect Club. And we have three of our important members of our BCA Connect Club here today. We have Brynn Hasbrouck, we have Nora Lopez, and Noah Aidoo. And thank you guys for joining us today. I know we've spent a little bit of time talking about it, but I just want to say thanks for coming over.
Thank you for having us.
This is pretty cool. So in the first segment, we talked about how the genesis of the BCA Club, which was an idea, hey, can we do this, which is perfect. And then we talked about it, as Mrs. Clark mentioned, what is all the work that goes on to build the podcast and get the guests. There's a whole bunch of work that goes on, right? We talk about icebergs. Everybody only sees the tip of the iceberg. They don't realize all the stuff that goes on. So that was cool talking about that, really, the mixers and figuring out who's going to be part of it. So, Nora, maybe you can talk about, you guys are the hosts. Yeah. What are some other members of the BCA Club doing to kind of help the podcast come together? Because there's a big team that puts it together, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. So,
okay.
There's this one 6th grader, and he's, like, super duper creative. He's super good with technology.
Whoa.
And I'm pretty sure he created, like, a huge,
thumbnail, I think it was.
Yeah,
okay.
It was like a pin, and it was on Canva, and it was just like crazy how he like.
Is that John?
Yeah, I think so. And
John did a great job with that.
Coordinated everything, and then there's another great kid named Francesco Gorman. He's in my class, and he's just really good with the mixer, the audio, knowing the right stuff, what to do with everything. Then Q O'Neill, she's an 8th grader, and she's great with coming up with questions. Like, we had a set of for Miss Morgan, we had a set of regular questions. Then we just had, like, rapid fire questions to, like, just quick answers. So, yeah, I feel like there's a huge team, and they're all really good and really nice kids.
Well, that's what makes a team, right? As Coach DePierro said, right? Coach and just Mr. DePierro and BCA Connect Club coordinator. So teams, everybody, they come together, and everybody has a different skill and put together. So teamwork's important, right? And community is important. That's really good. So it's kind of cool. Everybody has their own little place here. So we're building kind of the framework for it. And then now you had your first guest, which was awesome. Noah, do you have any guests that are lined up that maybe you guys are targeting who would make a great podcast guest? Who do you think?
Mr. Hasbrouck.
What? Oh, my goodness.
Oh, how did you pick him?
Yeah.
So,
you have to tell us. Yep.
He just walked in the room, and then Mr. DePierro asked if we should interview him, and then we all agreed yes.
Okay.
Oh, so if we had walked in the room, you would have interviewed us?
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, geez, I can't wait to walk in that room. I can't wait to be on the podcast. That was cool. So, no, that's a great thing, right? So that's the cool thing. You guys are getting ready. You're doing all sorts of work. And then something pops up. Mr. Hasbrouck, hey, he'd be a great guest.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Now, the third member of our important guest team may or may not have some insight on some questions we're going to ask Mr. Hasbrouck. What should we ask Mr. Hasbrouck?
Well, I am his daughter, and it's really cool having my dad in the school. I think some questions that we should ask him is definitely about his coaching job with the Burke Catholic football team. He helped us go to Syracuse in the state championship. I definitely think that will lead to some good questions, and definitely what he does in the school. Like, he's the dean of students. I think there's definitely a good range of questions that we can ask him.
Well, that's great, but I'm going to give you guys a little secret and advice here. Those are some great questions. Get some hard questions for him, right?
Yeah.
Let's throw him a couple of curveballs, right?
Like some math questions, maybe?
Math questions.
Yeah.
Sure. Now, so Noah, you said that you had a whole bunch of questions for Mrs. Morgan. What were some of the questions you asked Mrs. Morgan? Who's awesome, by the way. Mrs. Morgan is our art teacher. She did an incredible show last night. There's a whole bunch of incredible artwork by our Burke Catholic students. Our students are on a great trip down to New York City today, down at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. So you guys have a lot of great things to look forward to. But Noah, do you remember any of the questions we asked Mrs. Morgan? And did she get any of them wrong?
They weren't right or wrong questions. It was just we asked her about what she does and stuff, what's her favorite thing to draw and her favorite color and why she likes the Disney trip so much.
Wow, you guys went easy on her, huh? Okay, that's cool. I like that. Mrs. Clark, what do you think about that?
I think those are great questions. Do you think she was a great interviewee? Did you have a good time with her, and did she enjoy herself?
Yeah, she enjoyed herself.
Did you learn anything new about Miss Morgan?
That her college and I forgot the college, to be honest, but it was yeah.
But that's the cool thing about it, right? So you guys, when you get to do this, you guys get to learn more about other things, and you get to learn about how the podcast works. And Mrs. Clark and I have the same idea. We get a chance to talk to people, and sometimes we think we know somebody, but they have interesting dynamics that are part of their life that you didn't really know. So that was a great idea to ask Mrs. Morgan, because sometimes we just view them in the building, and to know that she had gone to a great organization and been part of the art club, that's pretty cool. Those are great questions.
Now, Brynn, you obviously know much about your next guest.
Yes.
But Nora and Noah, is there something that you're looking forward to asking Mr. Hasbrouck about?
Yes. So he has he's been a football coach, but what did he study when he was in college? What was he actually trying to be? Was he trying to be a dean? So I know that he is currently working in Lab 1 too as a teacher, so I just wasn't sure. I didn't know if that's what he went to college to study and then just became a dean. So I don't know. I think that's interesting to know.
Great questions. Noah, what about you? What do you want to learn from Mr. Hasbrouck?
I would ask him why he likes football so much and like why he would love to coach it.
Great question. Really good. Your podcast sounds like it's awesome, by the way. I know I got a chance to see it from Mrs. Morgan, so that's pretty cool. And then, no, Brynn, are those some good questions? What are some tough ones?
I mean,
His favorite color?
I don't think he has a favorite color. He'd probably just say blue.
Okay,
Blue.
well, that's cool. Go Eagles, right?
Yeah.
Burke Catholic Eagles.
Maybe Coach DePierro has a tough question for Mr. Hasbrouck.
I have a lot of tough questions, but I don't think I can ask them.
Aw.
I don't think we can go there. No, there's some, definitely Mr. Hasbrouck has some, if there's someone to podcast with or to interview, he's up there for the top one. I think what's great, and having Brynn in the building as well, is he's such a great family guy, and he's such a great friend. So, you know, what makes him tick as that, and his you know, purpose, and yeah, just a good dude to hang around. So not just what he is as a football coach and as a dean, as your teacher, but you know, as a father and a friend, you could kind of learn a lot about from Mr. Hasbrouck.
Yeah, and that's wonderful. And there's so many folks in the building. I can't wait for you guys to get a chance to meet all of our people in the building. There's so many different skills and interests that our faculty has, and Mrs. Killalea last night, and Gabby Zutis and Mr. Tishan, who put on an incredible show. You were part of the band last night in the chorus. So to watch you guys do that and know that our faculty has just an incredible gift there. And Mrs. Morgan, I know, is a great artist, right? Miss Tudre, our incredible math teacher, she put together for something for the art show. So I think your podcast, I think you guys are really onto something, because you get to learn about all of the great things that go on. And it's helpful to Burke Catholic, too, because we love talking about all the cool things you guys do, right? So this is the platform that Mrs. Clark and I used to brag about you guys. So you guys are very, very easy to brag about, right, Mrs. Clark?
We do it every single week, and it doesn't ever get old. So, yes, it's very easy to do, and we love it. So you guys, you did an interview with Miss Morgan. And did you have, I guess, was there anything during that first podcast that you felt that you had to do better second? That you said, maybe we need to do something a little bit better next time?
I definitely agree. I definitely think that we definitely need to work on making the podcast less like, oh, and where did you go to college? Oh, why did you want to be a teacher? What's your favorite color? And more add more conversation to it, because our podcast last time was only like 11 minutes, and I think it should definitely be like longer if we're gonna have a podcast. And also, people might enjoy it more if we add more conversation to it.
I think that is incredible, and that's what you do, right? So if you go back in any successful organization, team, club, show, event, it has to have a beginning, right? You have to say, I'm going to start. And then the successful ones always look at what they can do to do better. So that is really a very mature way to look at the podcast. Yeah, there was some things we did. It was great. We built the platform, but maybe a conversation piece is part of it. Mrs. Clark and I do that all the time. We're getting, much better at this.
A little bit better every time.
Yeah, a little better at this each time. And we've had some guests on who've been incredibly successful, and they've been incredibly conciliatory as we had, missed our cues on this and asked silly questions, and we're in and out. So it is wonderful for you guys to see. And that's part of the learning curve. You guys are used to using technology in the building, and now to use the podcast is even better. And I know we're going to take a quick break here right at the quarter of the hour, but maybe you guys can think about some of the ways you're using the technology, not only in the classroom, but as your podcast, for maybe that can help you guys learn more, or maybe if there's an interest. I know you don't have to think about it now, but in high school and college, is this become such a cool thing for you? Maybe this is something that would interest you in your future, right? So Mr. DePierro, communications coordinator, he's making that a career, right? He's got some incredible skills, and he's using that to better it. So maybe we can talk about, and I know we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but when we come back, think about if this might be something you guys want to really get into, whether it's reporting, whether it's podcasts, or the whole technology piece. Does that be okay? Yeah. All right, good. We got some cool things to think about. So we are going to take a quick break here on the BC Connection with John Douthit and Janice Clark. We've got our great guests here from the BCA Connect Club. and we're going to find out what their future plans are. Tune in, folks. Thanks.
Burke Catholic is the premier preparatory school in the Hudson Valley and encourages students to fulfill their passions in the areas of the fine arts, academics, athletics, and community service. Burke Catholic has a 100% graduation and college acceptance rate. Our seniors are awarded, on average, $180,000 in college scholarships. Burke Catholic's personalized approach to guidance ensures success for every student in grades 6 through 12. For more information or to schedule a tour, visit burkecatholic.com.
Hi, this is John Tesh. Tune in for great music and intelligence for your life on weekdays at 1 p.m. as we assemble the tips, the facts, and the news you need to be happier, healthier, more lovable, and more fun to be around. Radio worth listening to.
We put the intelligence out there. You decide what to do with it.
Are you a foodie, a wine connoisseur, or love both? Then join the conversation every Thursday at 11 a.m. with Stephen Keeter and his renowned guests, restaurateurs, chefs, and sommeliers on Food for Thought, right here on Radio Worth Listening to.
And welcome back, folks. Thanks again for joining John Douthit and Janice Clark on the BC Connection here. WTBQ 93.5, radio worth listening to. Thanks again for tuning in. And again, we say it all the time. Frank and Taylor, thank you guys for giving us this platform and giving us an opportunity to be part of the WTBQ family. Ryan, thank you for all your help, keeping us on the tracks. We look forward to this every week. It gives us a chance to kind of really think about what we have going on at school, what we're planning in the future, what we can talk about now, what's the priority, where we are, and it's always on the students, right? You guys are the most important people in our building, not only our BCA students, but our high school students, and how we can connect, the BC Connection, how we can connect with the folks locally and our alumni. So it's really kind of cool, and you guys have been so cool, I would say, getting out of school today on kind of a fun day to be part of our BCA Connect. So you guys have been
Nora
great.
was a little bit upset she had to leave early.
Oh, I was
devastated.
Yeah, Nora.
So sad.
Nora was so upset about it.
Well, that's good. Well, thanks for spending some time with us. So
I had to push through. It's fine.
which is awesome. So before we broke, we were talking about kind of what you guys are doing in the building. We're talking about potential guests, potential podcasts, but Mrs. Clark and I are a little bit interested to know what, maybe we're going to interview you guys now as podcast. What are some of your plans? I know you're still very young, but do you have any plans, Brynn?
Well, what I want to be when I grow up is I want to be a science teacher.
Awesome.
Because I wanted to go to the moon, but then I decided that takes a lot of like school and
Could
might
still
be
be
hard
fun.
to get to the moon. So then I decided, and I also wanted to be a teacher, so just settled on a science teacher. And I also maybe want to be a nurse. Not both, but those are my two, like, what I want to be when I grow up.
Well, that's pretty cool. Okay, Noah, we're putting you on the spot.
When I grow up, I want to be like a basketball player, and in college, I want to study business.
Wow. And then do you have any specific college that maybe is already in your plans to attend? Because Mom and Dad are here, so maybe we can let them in on a little secret.
The college I want to attend is either LSU or Duke.
Whoa.
Go Tigers.
Yeah.
Go. Great.
When I was in fourth grade, I wanted to
because
go
you
to
follow
Duke.
them in basketball. Is that why you want to go there, because you love their basketball teams right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good. Do you have
Those-
any favorite players or coaches?
No, but like I just like to watch and stuff.
Those are great schools, and we have had students in the past who've gone down there, and they are really, really awesome. Wow. Great plans. Okay, Nora, I know we took you out of school today, and you're very upset, but if you can maybe get it together and
If you're
regroup and let us know if you have any future plans.
Yeah, I definitely want to go to college, of course.
Okay.
I would probably go to maybe James Madison
Very cool.
or Penn State, because those just I want to go to college with like a big football dome so I could go and watch games with my friends and it'd just be fun. And then I would maybe even do soccer in college. I would definitely consider it because I love soccer. And then I would probably study, I would probably want to get my doctor's degree and become a doctor.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. That's so great. And then we're going to go back around the horn, and we started with Brynn and Noah and Nora. So now we're going to start with Nora. We're going to go you first, and then we'll go Noah and Brynn. Talk about some of the things you're doing at BCA now that are a little bit different than just a BCA Connect. Is it a club or a team or maybe your favorite class?
Okay, so I just wrapped up my soccer season for the girls modified soccer at Burke.
Okay.
The coach is amazing.
Okay.
We had an 8-1 season, I think.
Mhm.
So we only lost one game, which is pretty good. We
So much fun to watch you
finished,
guys.
Yeah, top of division, which is pretty nice. My favorite class. Well, like, it's hard because I have, like, really nice teachers, but, like, that they're so great, but I just, like, don't like the subject. But, like all the teachers are just phenomenal, so it would be very hard. I really like Dr. Burns' class. He's my English teacher. He's very helpful, especially if you need, like, help with something. He's very willing to give extra time. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. That's awesome. Okay, so Noah, I'm putting you on the spot here, pal. So we got LSU or Duke. We want to be a basketball guy. What are some of the things you're doing at BCA now, or you're involved in, or that you really like?
So yesterday we just finished the winter concert, and then as of right now, during classes in English and stuff, we're doing these like Christmas ornaments and stuff.
That's incredible.
Is that one of your favorite classes too, English?
No, my favorite is probably math or social studies.
Okay.
Because the teachers.
Good. And that might help you in the business world, right? You said you might want to look into business when you grow up?
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of business? Anything in particular?
I don't know yet, but like I just know I want to be like in business.
Okay.
Very cool. And you guys,
I'll add that Noah was the
Yeah.
sharpest dressed guy at the concert last night. He
I
had a red
agree.
tuxedo on. It was,
I agree. You were
It
Noah.
looked like he was hosting the
Yes.
Eskies.
Yes.
you were spectacular, and everybody did so very well, and I'm in awe of you guys standing up in front. We probably had 350 parents and faculty
There was a lot of
and
people. That was a
everybody.
packed house.
That was a
full
packed house,
house
yeah.
last night. So for you guys to stand up there and sing in front of everybody, man, I was in awe. You guys were wonderful. So that was pretty cool, and you did look sharp. There's no doubt about it. That was awesome. You're welcome. All right, Brynn,
Yes.
you're on the spot. Okay, we already asked about you want to be a science teacher, or
Couldn't go to the moon.
maybe go to the moon. Well, there's guys who's doing some stuff now that might make it easier for everybody pretty soon. So maybe I'll join you. Sounds like a cool trip. But
Pack in my suitcase.
pack a suitcase. That sounds like a great idea. So what would be next, or what are things you're also doing at BC now besides BCA Connect? And then is science your favorite class because you want to be a science teacher?
I really like all of my classes.
Awesome.
I really do.
Awesome.
I do like science. Me and Noah are in the same classes, so learning about the water cycle. My science teacher is amazing, Mr. Cerusi.
Cool.
And I really like math class. I really like our math teacher, Miss Sanchez. Mr. Platey, Miss Killelay, they're all great. I love their classes too. But I think math and science are probably my favorites.
So good, right?
Excellent. So
I
you
also
guys,
really like tech too.
Tech, yes.
Can I
So
just say one more
yeah,
thing?
please.
My friend, she told one of the teachers, she's not my teacher, but we see her every day before lunch, and she told us to give her a shout out. Her name's Miss Fonzie. She's an AP senior teacher, and one time she gave us a treat or something. I don't know. She gave us like a lollipop, and then we wouldn't stop coming back. So now she calls us the Stray Cats. So yeah,
I love Miss
Good
Fonzie.
name for
we
your
love
group.
we love Miss Fonzie.
So one of the big things that Mrs. Clark has put in, so we have our BCA. So the BC Academy, Burke Catholic Academy, for the folks that are listening in for the first time, or maybe you went to school when we were around and you didn't realize that Burke Catholic now has an academy. We have 6th, 7th, and 8th grade in the same building as our high school. So we're now 6 through 12. 9 through 12 is our high school, and 6 through 8 is our BCA, Burke Catholic Academy. And you guys get to go to school with our high school kids, which is pretty cool, right? So maybe, and I know Mrs. Clark has put together an incredible program. First of all, incredible faculty, a teaching assistance program where our seniors are working with you guys in the classrooms. Maybe Noah, maybe we can start with you about the teaching assistants and what you guys like about having our high school guys in your classroom.
So they help us like set up and decorate the classrooms, and they also like are very kind and yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Who do you have as a TA?
We have like 2, Aubrey and Aaron.
Good. And they're in what classes are they in with you?
So Aaron is in
Theology.
Yeah.
And then
Aubrey's in English.
Good.
And
Well,
we
shout
also
out to them.
have Izzy Filoso
Oh, yeah,
as
tech.
our tech TA. I love Izzy. She's so nice.
I bet you they love coming in, right, Mrs. Clark? Our teaching assistants,
Oh,
our seniors, they love
TAs
coming in.
love that. They definitely love that. But it's great for the kids too. And Nora, what about your TA?
So I actually have a few too. So I have Sabrina, and she is my social studies TA. And then I have my English TA. His name is, he's not, he's my reading lab. His name is Nick. And then I have, like, any of my I periods, Izzy, the same one. Yeah, she usually comes in, and she's great too, so.
Okay, so that's working out. You're
Yeah.
glad to have them in there, right?
Yes, for sure.
Good. And do you guys look up to them at all? Do you feel like maybe one day you would want to be a TA, and especially maybe for you, Brynn, who, if you're thinking about being a teacher, maybe when you're junior, senior, it might be something you'd want to do.
I mean, yeah, when I first, like, found out, like, about that, like, what they do, I already, like, and, like, I think it's so amazing that they get to work with the younger kids and stuff like that. They're very helpful. And I also love having the older kids in the building, like, especially with, like, the football team, like, and my dad being the coach. It's, like, having those guys to, like, look up to, and even, like, any other high schooler, like, even me personally, I look up to all of the high schoolers, like, so much. Like, they're so kind, like.
It's so great, and it's wonderful to hear. And one of the biggest things when there was some discussions about whether this could work or can't work, or the high school to middle school, one of the biggest things that we committed to the folks down at the Archdiocese, particularly Cardinal Dolan and Superintendent Deegan at the time, was that we knew we could make it work because we have incredible high school students, and they've essentially adopted all of our BCA kids. So there's just an incredible piece that's part of it. And then, there's work involved, and there's a lot of really cool things, but we have a lot of fun at school, right? So there's a whole bunch of really cool things that are going on. And Mrs. Clark, we have Spirit Week next week.
Oh my goodness, we have Spirit Week next week. So yes, we start on the 16th, and
Okay.
all week long we have different themes. So
For
the high
everybody?
school- everybody. So the high school
Dress down days?
Dress down days with
What?
themes, and some of them are the same for the high school and BCA. Some of them are different. We definitely have Ugly Sweater Christmas Day.
Oh, boy.
We have,
I need a
Night
Hawaiian shirt
Before
for Christmas in July.
Theme day. We have our class color day. And we'll finish up with a pep rally on Friday, because who doesn't want a pep rally the day before Christmas break? Right?
Basketball games, right?
Oh yeah, we're doing basketball games.
Basketball.
Yep, and I believe that there's even a sign up for a team faculty basketball game against the students.
Oh, I would
I'm-
love
I'm-
to be
gosh.
in that.
I'm good for
boy.
5,000 that game.
We better get the ambulances ready. And you guys have to go easy on our teachers, okay? Right? They're old.
All right, so
they're
Noah's
like me.
definitely
They're
going to
old.
play in the basketball game, right?
It's
This
going to
Spirit
be
Week?
great. It's going to be so cool. Well, listen, guys, we always, right, we have great guests on the show, and we always have a whole bunch of great fun talking to you guys, but we always run out of time. So we are going to run out a little bit of time here. We're going to just the last few minutes here, but I know, Mrs. Clark and I, we want to thank you guys. Thanks you guys for
thank
coming
you so
over.
much for
Of
coming in.
course. Thank you for having us. It was so
inviting
much
us.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys for doing all the great things that we get to brag about. It's kind of cool. You guys do all the work, and we get to talk about all the cool things you're doing. And Mr. DePierro, thank you so much. All the stuff you do for all of us, all the promotional pieces we see on our Facebook and Instagram and Twitter pages, and the Burke Catholic website is www.burkecatholic.com. We're so excited. Well, listen, folks, Mrs. Clark, last word? Goodbye.
Last word, BC Connect. Yes, so tune in to the BC Connect, and thank you guys. And everyone have a wonderful week.
Wonderful week. We'll see you guys next Friday. Thanks, folks. Bye now.